YouTube, welcome back to another video. Today's topic is going to be about the Jester meme. Yeah, basically I can relate to that. Well, I used to be able to relate to it, but this generation kind of just got onto that meme, and I just wanted to kind of put my partake in it real quick. But basically it just goes over this Jester kind of just hopping around and just being kind of goofy towards the queen that he's trying to please, and that's what a lot of guys are feeling. Now, I've been felt this way a long time ago when it came to me just trying to get at girls and stuff. I just hated how I used to just trying to like sliding in DMs. I felt like he was just begging for attention. Like this girl wasn't really like into talking to you like that for beginners, but then you're waiting for her every reply, her every text, or all this and all that. It was just a big mess. It wasn't really enjoyable. And once you catch on to that pattern, like why is it that I'm the one trying all this effort just trying to get at a girl, but then there's some guy that's on a different level, a different status or whatever, which no, we don't hate on this channel. No hating. We probably worked hard to get to that point. Is able to get that girl easily and without really that much effort. So once you kind of experience that, when you see yourself being outclassed, it just makes you want to, like, for me personally, lock in and figure out like, okay, what is it I have to do to not have to go through those experiences, not just to impress other girls, but just to do it for yourself and kind of see where you can go and not really be stuck with something you're not really attracted to. Because I would say the biggest thing with me is just like I can't really go for someone I'm not really attracted to like that, or I'm settling. And trust me, guys settle all the time. I think that's one of the main things with the big problem with dating for or just relationships, that we just kind of just settle because we really don't have options like that, and that's a whole another thing. But we're gonna get to that point later on in the video. But yeah, right now this is just a Jester. I do think guys are more aware of them putting a lot of energy, effort, time, just trying to please a girl. And then we all know this, girls have options and they're getting entertained by a lot of guys and all that stuff. But the whole thing with all this is just focusing on what you can control and not really letting that be your outcome and just joking around. Because if you feel the need that you're talking to somebody and they're not really giving that same energy back, just leave. Or another big thing, you feel like there's something wrong, leave. And something wrong could be like, oh, this person they're making me like doubt myself in a way, or doubt the progression that me and this person are trying to have. It's like it's hard to go on dates, it's hard to try to call, it's hard to text them because they take all damn day to text back. If you get any of those feelings or any of those signs that whatever, don't ignore it. That's just how it is. I know how it is. You just don't feel like facing the truth. It's just it's just not working. It's just obviously not really invested as you are into the relationship. Just trying to build a relationship, so just might as well just keep peace and keep it pushing. And I think the biggest thing is that the lack of options part. That's why being the Jester is probably the more relatable thing to do for guys, just because we're just trying to entertain and see how far we can go with this, and not knowing that reality, like if she's the queen, then somebody gotta be the king of her life, and if it ain't you, you're most likely the Jester. And so you would have to kind of be aware of like where you're at in this situation. Are you benefiting, or you wasting time? Are you draining your own energy just trying to keep up with just texting and figuring out? Because I know how it is. It's like when you text somebody and you feel like you gotta like think about every little word you're saying, and I gotta make sure it sounds flirtatious or sounds direct or to the point. It's just you're complicating it because like it's not working out. Like if I say that one wrong word or sentence, that things are gonna not work out as well as they need to, and you already know it's gonna be the end of that relationship right then and there. And if you know that, then trust that feeling. And I think that's one of the things that I strive to be more, because when I was when I was younger, I would always try to like go after a whole bunch of girls. I would text a whole bunch of my type back then used to be Latinas and white girls and all that stuff. And I would text them all the time, text models on Instagram and Tinder and all that stuff, and they would be entertained, but then it wouldn't go on to a date. It wouldn't be nothing like that at all. Nothing would resonate where I can go out and gain experience And that was the main thing that I wanted to do, because I wanted to like level up within that atmosphere, was just to get better at being with girls. Because for years, I remember just feeling like, why wasn't I not good at this? I hated how I felt like I wasn't good enough. And I knew I was capable of doing something, but just not was given a chance to do so. So it was that feeling that kind of pushed me to do that, and talk to many girls so I can at least go on as many dates, so I can gain as much experience, and not have to struggle with that as much. Because when you're good with something, you don't really struggle with it. Even if you lose the ability, it will come back in some shape or form, and you'll be able to kind of hone your own and hold off, because you're not going to be stuck with nothing. Or just like when one girl comes to you, she's a big ass bucket of red flags, like a bucket of fried chicken. What talk about comparison? I'm hungry. A big old thing of red flags, and you just be like, oh well, let's just see how it works. And then months go by, and she's like, red flags. She's not, respecting you. She's treating you crazy, and just like, yeah, you're getting something out of it, but then you're losing your sanity. And that part, your peace, especially as a man, that's like the biggest thing. I think men really underestimate how much they need peace. I think now we are at an understanding, but peace is everything. And it for something to disrupt your peace doesn't have to naturally come from a woman, but it can just be coming from a job, your environment, the things you listen to, and all. It's just whatever it could be. It can disrupt your peace, and once it does that, it was just regaining it. That's the big part, because once you lose something, it's the repairing, it's the getting it back together so you can be strong again. Sure, you can be strong to go back, but it's just like, I'm telling you, it's like getting knocked down for a second. It's going to take a little bit of effort to get back up and get your rhythm going back up again. So that's one thing. But yeah, just your peace is everything, and not having options is something that I'm pretty sure all guys can relate to, and that's why we, become the Jester. And when you become the Jester, it's like becoming a Joker. What doesn't kill you only makes you stranger. That's like one of my favorite lines from that movie. Because every time I just think about that movie, I always think about that damn line. That line was something else. That movie was peak. Of course, we all know this, but that movie was peak. It was way ahead of its time when I was watching it as a kid. But yeah, just like all those experiences, like, I think that's one of the main things. But to really think about all this, like, the only thing we can do is just to get better, level up our lifestyle, and make sure we're at peace with ourselves, and figuring out what we can do to be the best option out there. Because technically you're in competition, but I'm fighting for my peace. I want to make sure I'm good. I want to be worrying about dating or girls for a long time, like forever, because it's just worrying about girls is like worrying about something that's out of your control. And it's the worst feeling too, because it's simple, but it's like, for me, okay, girls are simple. Like, I've seen it too with my very own eyes. They can either go for you and make you the number one priority, or they can make up a whole bunch of excuses and problems depending on what they're at. Now, you want to be the guy is that you don't have to deal with any problems. You just want to be, okay, I'm chilling, I'm good. I put in a lot of work, changed my lifestyle, changed my habits, I changed what I wear, what I do, and I'm able to kind of attract the type of girl I want, and I get something out of it. I'm able to benefit off of this. I don't want to be the guy that's sitting down complaining and stuck, just not satisfied, because, or even worse, settling with a girl that you're not attracted to. I mean, that's a self-destruction button right there. Because you trust me, you're gonna come to that point where you just look at that girl and you're like, oh, okay, I can't pretend no more. I just can't. I'm sorry. Where you going? Like I just can't pretend. So, yeah, that's it. Just being honest with yourself. But yeah, that's basically the whole Jester thing. I find it funny that people kind of bring that up, and just it's becoming more of a thing, and guys are becoming more aware as through the 2020s are going, that how dating is. But I always say, always have hope. We're always just trying to improve our lifestyle and just get better mentally. And people are like, this ain't gonna get any, dating isn't gonna get any better. I'm just, well, if dating isn't gonna get any better, make sure your life gets better. your mindset gets better, your health gets better, your spirit gets better, your finances get better. Make sure you get better. If something else ain't working, if it's on fire, you not on fire, you know, or you're chilling, you're cool, you know, pretty much. But thank you guys for listening. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, and take care. Peace.